I want to talk about Puerto Rico, man. Like you were huge in Puerto Rico and you started here in the 90s. How did you got approached initially by the company of Carlos Colon and Victor Jovica?
Actually, think I think Butcher, Abdulah the Butcher, I don't know, put a word in or gave me the number or told me to send a tape in or something. And so they got it. They called me up. They said, all right, come down. Come down. My first time there was like the middle of October. And they set me in with a one-way ticket. And I wasn't exactly sure how long I was going to stay. I actually just wanted to go in and come back out and do a show. That was it. But they talked me into staying until the end of the year, and worked. I think it was. I can't remember if that was the very first time. I think we worked a little angle where I got hurt, and was out for a while because they knew I was going back to Japan in January. But my very first impression of Puerto Rico, I actually am very fond of Puerto Rico now. But I can remember back in the day, before I even started wrestling, maybe when I was younger, I remember watching, seeing the news whenever a hurricane would come through. And they would always, especially if it was coming to Puerto Rico, and they would show down there where everybody's boarding up gas stations or windows, all kind of stuff. And I remember seeing the destruction down there. I'm like, man, who would want to go to Puerto Rico? And then, of course, I went to Puerto Rico. And my first impression was, I don't know, it wasn't a great impression, I don't think, only because of the cultural shock. But you get used to it. But so what I mean is, like, when I got there, Victor Arroyo was the office guy that picked everybody up from the airports. He also drove us to the towns. So all that was taken care of, which was kind of cool. But I remember being a passenger. He picked me up. I think we went right to the office to do some interviews for the upcoming shows. And I remember being a passenger driving to the office, which was in I think it was in whatever the downtown part, maybe it's San Juan, downtown part of San Juan. And I'm like, what the hell? Every place has bars on the windows. Like, that was just very odd to me. And then we're driving, and the driving was like way different than what I was used to in the States. Everybody was like, especially on the highway, it might be a 3-lane highway. People would make lanes out of both shoulders. And it wasn't just like pass them and get back in the lane. It was like, it was okay. Everybody just made, so a 3-lane highway legit became a 5-lane highway. And I'm like, you're not going to get back into the, I mean, they just, so driving was crazy. And then the bars on the window, I'm like, what the fuck? So that took a little getting used to, but looking back on it now, I have lots of fond memories, and I miss Puerto Rico. And it saddened me to see the hurricane, though I can't remember, was it Maria? I don't remember. Maria. It saddened me to see the hurricane go through there and wipe them out for however long that was. So yeah, I have a big part of my heart is for 10 years off and on, I worked there. And for the first October to December, when the end of the season was for them. And that was, 95. And then I think I actually moved down there. Like, that was my actual address then, after I had gotten married, and I moved back down there March, I think, of 96. And I actually lived there for about a year. And I would just fly to Japan back and forth from there. So yeah, it's a lot of good memories.
I'll translate this. ¿Cómo llega Jungle Jim Steele a Puerto Rico? Él no recuerda si fue que Abdulah The Butcher lo llamó, o él le dio el número, o Abdulah le dio el contacto, o le dijo que enviara un tape. Simplemente Abdulah tuvo que ver en eso. Y él llega a Puerto Rico y él quería estar una sola fecha. Una fecha, llegar a Puerto Rico e irse. Pero le compran un one-way ticket y llega a Puerto Rico. Es como que, ¿pero cuánto tiempo voy a estar? Si lo que quiero es un show nada más. Y lo convencen que él llega en octubre para que se quede hasta fin de año en Puerto Rico y allá hacer la historia en donde él se lesiona para poder él regresar con sus compromisos que tenía en Japón. Y estando en Puerto Rico fue completamente distinto, porque cuando él iba creciendo él veía, diablo, Puerto Rico, ¿quién quisiera vivir ahí? Ese revolú de huracanes, porque todo el tiempo, para los que vivimos en Puerto Rico, que nosotros estamos en el Caribe, todo huracán que llega a Estados Unidos pasa usualmente por Puerto Rico, República Dominicana antes. Y veía la destrucción y de momento llega, pues, me toca ir a Puerto Rico, fue a Puerto Rico, y se topa con el choque cultural de que las ventanas, las barras, de toda la gente era como que completamente distinto, pero sobre todo cuenta la historia de la autopista. En Puerto Rico está esta manía de que hay 3 carriles o 3 lanes y de momento tienes 5 carriles porque te va uno por el paseo del otro lado, otro por la salida del otro lado y comienzan todos a cambiarse uno por un lado y otro para el otro y es como que, pero no vas a volver a, le dice el conductor, que era Víctor Arroyo, que era el que lo buscaba casi todo el mundo, y ahí le explican un poco de cómo funcionaba Puerto Rico. Se queda en Puerto Rico, le gustó su experiencia, tanto así que él comienza a vivir en Puerto Rico. Él se casó, se mudó a Puerto Rico en marzo y estuvo por un año viviendo aquí. Y todos sus tours en Japón, él salía de Puerto Rico y de Puerto Rico iba entonces a trabajar en Japón.